On the news tonight, Ondo State government promises delivery of Oyerebulam-Shagari flyover in 18 months. DG of Akure refutes accusations of illegal possession of Akpomulana's farmlands. NLC issues August 2 nationwide strike notice to federal government. And from the foreign scene, Ghana outlaws death penalty for all crimes. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the news. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says his administration will continually transform the state with various infrastructural facelifts for the benefit of the people. The Oyerebulam-Shagari Iresa flyover is one of his promises to the people of the state, and when completed will be the first flyover in the state capital. Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Raimi Aminu, and his entourage, while on an on-the-spot visit to the project site, said ongoing construction of the flyover and junction improvement project will address incessant carnages, facilitate smooth flow of traffic, and eliminate long queues of vehicles while adding to aesthetic beauty of the area. Government House correspondent Olumide Adelowoye reports that the commissioner appealed to owners of properties acquired in order to pave the way for the construction to see it as a sacrifice in the overriding interest of the public.
When completed, this will be the second flyover constructed by Akeredolu administration following the Ore Redemption Bridge in Ore, Odigbo local government area. Infrastructure, Lands and Housing Commissioner Raimi Aminu disclosed that the state government has paid over 300 million naira as compensation to about 57 claimants whose properties fell within the right of way in order to give way for the project. He explained that the Land Use Act 1978 vested the ownership of lands in government, hence the market value of any land is not considered according to the Act. Aminu explained that the construction of the flyover became imperative due to the frequent losses of lives occasioned by incessant accidents and traffic gridlock along the road corridor.
According to Land Use Act 1978, we supported and said at the right time that government can't pay for lands. Lands belong to Almighty God and to government. So during the valuation exercise, we do not value anything lands. So, and total money paid and compensation for this as just about 600 meter length. Total money paid for the compensation is over 300 million naira. Over 300. And the claimants, about 50-something claimants. And from the 50, about 56 or 57. And from the 57, we have properties belongs to government there. And some of those properties are shops and shanties.
While describing the configurations of the bridge, Aminu said the bridge superstructure comprises a 12-meter carriageway, 9 spans of 15-meter bridge with a 30-meter mid-span pre-stressed beam spanning across the federal highway. The commissioner assured that the project would be completed in less than 18 months.
The middle span is 30 meters, and the 30 meter is not going to be a normal beam, it will be a pre-stressed beam, like the one we have in Nore. And apart from that, it transfers over a major highway, which is to Ibadan and to Benin Axis. And that major highway was taken into consideration when designing, because in future, if there's need for dualizing the major highway, that means that this bridge that we're constructing now, there won't be need to demolish it. We've taken those ones into consideration. And apart from that, we are taking the water control into consideration. That's why we're having a major bus culvert here, because we are controlling all the runoff here.
Earlier, the project engineer for the Oyerebulam-Shagari Iresa flyover and junction improvement project, Tosin Adebayo, said the team has been on site for 3 months but were unable to mobilize reasonably until about 4 weeks ago.
we are trying to ensure that every other works that needed to be done ahead, like the covert work and some other preliminaries, that will make the construction of the bridge work along the axis to be fully in place without delay is being done. Presently at our back there we have a 40 meters culvert, 3x3 culvert that we are doing, single cell, and we have been able to do the 50% of that part of the culvert.
Addressing the team, Oba Hamid Saka of Irese community and Oba Peter Adeleye of Aye community appreciated the state government for the project. The monarchs appealed for a seamless construction of the Irese and Aye road to boost transportation activities and farm produce. Olumide Adeluoye, Osrc News.
Still talking developmental strides of the present administration, Ondo State, with its immense resources, has been described by diverse groups as a potential investment destination. To this end, government is galvanizing local and international investors to collaborate in driving the economy of the state. In this special report, Joy Pius takes a look at key areas stakeholders are considering at the sidelines of the Ondo Develop Summit 2.0.
Created on the 3rd of February 1976, Ondo State is the 19th most populated state in Nigeria and the 25th largest by land mass. Though an oil-producing state, agriculture remains the mainstay of its economy, as the state is Nigeria's largest producer of cocoa, with an estimated GDP of $8.41 billion and annual budget of $243 million as at 2022, Ondo State was ranked 13th among the 35 states of the Federation. However, the state government continues to seek ways to grow the economy with diverse resources in mining, oil and gas, transportation, tourism, and many more yet untapped. The latest is Ondo State's government's move to attract $2 billion in investments to Ondo State by bringing in a number of donor partners as well as investors, thereby creating 70,000 new jobs. The Ondo Develop Summit 2.0 is the vehicle driving the initiative, with local and international investors gathered in Akure to map out strategies to achieve the goal, amplifying the potentials inherent in the state and decentralizing development are key to even economic growth.
You need to provide the basic essentials of livelihood: light, water, infrastructure, roads, whatever else. And that's why NDDC is partnering the state in a number of opportunities. That's why NDDC plays a full role in the state, dealing with the fundamentals to put us on a level platform and then building on that. We have scarce resources, but I'll make sure that Ondo State gets its equitable share of those resources from the federal government of Nigeria.
Massive industrialization and local data tracking of the state's GDP is also pivotal to economic emancipation of Ondo State.
There are some big projects in the state that will evidently lead to increases in GDP, such as the Port of Ondo. But more importantly, what we want to do is make sure that we are tracking the progress that we have, because we may have even increased our GDP and we don't know because we are not tracking the data. And because, as you know, most of the state's economy is in the informal sector, so that makes it difficult to track that data. So part of the mandates of our office is to make sure we accurately collect, analyze, and research that data and then reflect it in data sources to ensure that Ondo State's GDP is accurately tracked.
Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Razak Obe, reviewed various strides at bringing the Port Ondo to realization and the efforts of the state government at ensuring an investor-friendly environment.
With access to the west, to the east, to the north, Ondo State is one state any investor should bring their money. And we have got leadership. Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has built the structure. Ondo is poised to emerge. Anyone who believes in tomorrow, whoever can peek into the future and be part of something grand and important, now is that right time to begin to come to participate Every support needed, we are ready to provide. We are already providing. We don't just provide the ambience for businesses to thrive. We actually go past the level of ambience to the realm of participation, giving them the support, the tools, the encouragement, shortening the time required, and debottlenecking our procedures.
It is obvious that tapping into the economic viability of the Sunshine State will open up the state to financial prosperity, job creation, and improve standard of living for its people. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
To other stories now, the Deji of Akure Oba Aladetoyinbo Aladelusi has described the allegation by some farmers in Akpomolono that he is illegally grabbing land in the area as baseless and an attempt to soil his name. The Akure monarch said the ownership of the area belongs to his kingdom, challenging the farmers to tender documents to prove otherwise. Farmers at the community in Idore local government area of Ondo State had issued a Save Our Soul message following the destruction of their farmlands by persons alleged to be carrying out the directive of the Deji. Osrc Zaid Aribisala has more on the situation.
Some farmers operating in Akpomulono, a community in Idore local government area of Ondo State, issued a Save Our Soul message following alleged destruction of their farmlands. The farmers, most of whom had passed their youthful age, alleged the Deji of Akure, Oba Aladetoyinbo Aladelusi, as the mastermind, accusing the monarch of forceful illegal possession of lands outside his domain. While these farmers continue to count their losses, the Deji of Akure has reacted to the allegations, which he described as baseless and ingenuine. Oba Aladelusi, who spoke through his chief press secretary, Michael Adeyeye, insisted that the land in question was rightly possessed by Akure Kingdom and backed up by a court judgment.
When you look at the map, there is nothing like Akpomulono. What we have is Akpomu. So we had some people trying to create a space for themselves outside the recognized Akpomu community. And Akpomu is a community, is an age-long community. In fact, it is the boundary between Akure and Ondo. So there is nowhere where you have Akpomulono. Though we've had people saying that, and they've contested it over time. If you check the 1953 judgment that ceded that land that on boundary dispute, actually gave that land to Akure. And when you check the map, what you see in the map is Akpomu and not Akpomulono. We are aware of the fact that some of our people from Idore has decided to add Lono to it just to create a place for themselves as Akpomu, which belongs to Idore. There can be two Akpomu. What we have there is Akpomu. And interestingly, Kabiyesi went to primary school in that same community. So that's to tell you there is a community that Akure is so familiar with.
Adeyeye, who challenged the farmers or acclaimed owners to provide relevant documents or approach the court, said adequate compensation were paid to farmers before the developers commenced operation.
Land is not just being sold for the sake of selling it. It is for people who come genuinely. We want to invest in Akure and we want somewhere that is befitting. And let me shock you, Akure is not getting anything from it. It's not as if it's being sold. But what we told those who are interested in investing is that we have our people who are farming on this land. So when you are coming, what we want you to do is, number one, make sure you take at least 60% of our children on both skilled and unskilled labor for that company. Number two, you have to pay compensation. We talk to those who have been farming on the land, and then compensations are paid.
Findings have, however, shown that the state government has waded into the matter by setting up a panel to establish who owns the land among Akure, Idore, and Isiko communities, as all are laying claim to the property. It is clear, however, that the last may not have been heard about the land ownership, as well as the lamentation of farmers who say their livelihoods have been taken away unjustly, and those who fear that one day soon their farm portion will be taken over. Finding a lasting resolution to the plights and concern of parties involved is expected to foster lasting peace. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Management of Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC has advised residents of Ondo State and well-meaning Nigerians to disregard the widespread insinuation being circulated by a certain Olusegun Ayere regarding his indebtedness to Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC and the termination of his license contract to harvest fruits from the company's plantations following his refusal to pay his debt to the company. As a law-abiding corporate establishment, Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC states clearly that the company is appealing the expurgation order immediately before a court of appropriate jurisdiction, while appealing to other debtors not to follow the route of unsubstantiated blackmail. The company said it shall employ all legitimate means at its disposal to protect its assets, human resources, and corporate image. It therefore insisted that all licensees who complied with its standard operating procedures are free to operate without fear of harassment, molestation, or intimidation from any quarters, just as it submitted that whoever comes to equity is duty-bound to come with clean hands. In part 2, after the break, we'll bring you more stories lined up for you. Join us again.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Welcome to Buckingham Parks and Gardens, the epitome of standard and luxury living. Nested amidst nature's beauty, this exquisite real estate development offers you of comfort, elegance, and tranquility. Convenience and accessibility are paramount at Buckingham Parks and Gardens. Children from field and recreational centers are not excluded in this world-class aesthetic estate situated at Aisu Road, Owodiede, Oshogbo in Osun State. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this extraordinary community. Contact our sales team today at Buckingham Parks and Garden. Your dream home awaits you.
Agron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
It's bright and early, get your breakfast right. Then you need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Then stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Then every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70 gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on our Facebook page at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the news. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC has given the federal government a 7-day ultimatum to reverse what it described as an anti-masses policies, including the recent hike in the pump price of petrol, or face an indefinite nationwide strike from August 2. Consequently, NLC has directed its affiliates and state councils to immediately begin mobilization of workers and other Nigerians, including civil society organizations, for a long-lasting strike and mass protest should the government fail to meet its demands. The decision to proceed on an industrial action was one of the decisions reached at NLC's Central Working Committee meeting held on Tuesday in Abuja. Federal government had set up a committee to liaise with the organized labor officials of the Trade Union Congress. However, NLC said the committee had failed to engage labor in a dialogue. Chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, has admitted that the commission experienced glitches in transmitting results from the IREV during the 2023 presidential elections. He acknowledged this while giving a critique of technological innovations deployed during the elections at a session with political parties on the review of the general elections. Professor Yakubu, in his review, said there was no direct funding or cash support from international development partners. Given a critique of technological innovations deployed during the elections, the INEC chairman said the accreditations of voters using the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) and the uploading of results to the INEC result viewing portal were successful. He acknowledged the perennial complaints from some political parties that the power of incumbency is used in some states to restrain some parties and candidates from access to public facility for media campaigns and outdoor advertising through exorbitant fees or outright denial. The Commission chairman appreciated the role of political parties through the Inter-Party Advisory Council in voter education within the limits of available resources, both during off-cycle and the general election. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has asked the federal government to direct the Department of State Services, DSS, to obey court orders. Falana's call came on the heels of the face-off between DSS operatives and those of Nigerian Correctional Service over the custody of suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Reacting to the tussle after the Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court in Lagos admitted Emefiele to bail in the sum of 20 million naira, the human rights lawyer said the federal government should ensure that the orders of the Federal High Court are obeyed forthwith. He argued that in view of the stern warning of President Tinubu that interagency fiscal attacks would not be permitted under his administration, the security officers who attacked officials of the Ikoyi Correctional Center ought to be fished out and sanctioned. MFLA is being prosecuted by the federal government on 2 counts of illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. In the meantime, in a bid to nip in the bud antics of drug users and peddlers, senior officials of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have held a 2-day meeting with their South African counterparts in the Directorate of Priority Crime Investigation, popularly known as Hawks. The interface was also to forge stronger operational ties and combat drug syndicates operating between both countries. Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Mohammed Buba Marwa, said the tie will provide a framework for enhanced information exchange and joint operations, joint airport interdiction, all promising dividends that will benefit Nigeria and South Africa greatly. Leader of the South African delegation, Senaba Musipi, described the collaboration as necessary as criminals in the drug trade do not recognize borders or geographical boundaries. Russia has accused the United States and the West of trying to sabotage the Russia-Africa summit later in the week by pressuring African countries not to participate. The summit, scheduled for St. Petersburg tomorrow and Friday, is expected to be attended by President Vladimir Putin. 49 African delegations have confirmed their participation, around half of whom will be represented by their heads of state or government.
The Kremlin accused the West, and particularly the United States, of trying to sabotage its showcase a Russian-African summit later this week. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said African states had been subjected to unprecedented pressure not to take part. In essence, he said, they do not accept the sovereign right of African states to independently determine their partners for cooperation and mutual interaction in various fields. The St. Petersburg summit on Thursday and Friday will be attended by President Vladimir Putin. He is expected to hold intensive one-on-one talks with individual African leaders on everything from trade and security to grain supplies. It is part of a concerted push for influence, which has also been echoed by the West against the backdrop of war in Ukraine. It also takes place after Moscow announced last week that it was leaving the Black Sea grain deal. That agreement had allowed Ukraine to safely export grain from its seaports. Here is Peskov speaking.
It is more important than ever to get together with the Africans and discuss in particular food obligations and the reasons for the failure of the grain deal, Russia's efforts to support the world markets, Russia's responsible approach to this, and what obligations on whose part were not met.
Russia has spoken of the possibility of supplying cheap or free grain to Africa's poorest nations to replace Ukrainian grain and make up for any shortfall. 49 African delegations have confirmed their participation in the St. Petersburg summit. A Russian diplomat was cited as saying earlier this month around half will be represented by their heads of state or government. Akintunde Akinshimola for Osrc News.
Now talking sports, Chairman of Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL), Gbenga Elegbeleye, has called on the Nigeria Referees Association to intensify efforts that will ensure matches of the 2023-2024 league season are fairly officiated. In a chat with OSRC, the Caribbean Sports Administrator said the body has a lot to learn to further reposition the league. He said there were errors here and there in the last season, but expressed the hope those errors will be corrected. Elegbeleye applauded GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited for its partnership with NPFL, which will invariably enhance improved performance in officiating. The 2023-2024 league season is scheduled to kick off in August. That's the news tonight. Just before we go, a quick look at the major stories. We told you that Ondo State government has promised that the flyover project around Onyere Bulam Shagari Iresa axis will be completed in 18 months. The DG of Akure, Oba Alade Toyinbo Alade Lucy, has discredited accusations of illegal possession of Akpomulona community's farmlands against him. You also heard that the Nigeria Labour Congress has given the federal government a 7-day ultimatum to reverse all perceived anti-policies or face an indefinite nationwide strike from August 2. And from the foreign scene, Ghana's parliament has voted to abolish the death penalty. That's the news tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.